Okay, describe to him what you just did, because that's a good little trick.
Right, so to get the center of it, go off center just a bit, touch your tool down, drag across it,
and you scratch it.
And then you can get an idea of the center of the scratch.
Because see, what I do is I take like a flat bar and I go like that, and then I wait for it to teeter, but that's a lot better deal. So then you have a little line, and then you could literally measure that if you want to be crazy exact. But anyways, and this is David. Everybody's seen David before. He's super happy at me because we're doing this on Saturday, and he doesn't know that Saturday you can work.
What?
But he doesn't. And I try to respect it, but we're trying to get this back together so we can use the machine on Monday to do trees. So he's going to machine the hole out, and now you'll see the process that he did before when he made that little aluminum block I showed you guys. It's basically the same process. But I've actually got a guy on the Yanmar page trying to do this to an 80, and he was trying to get away from doing this. Well, now you can see if we tried to spin that T, it hits this flange. It's easier to see when it's out of the machine. And you could tee it in the hose if you wanted to. Yanmar suggests to do this, and I was going to try to bypass it, and apparently Yanmar that builds the excavator knows what you need to do to their machine to make this work. Imagine that.
I don't have any more. I can't go down any lower with my table.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't expect that to have the... like I said, I've never had to ever take that out. I've always just taken the lid off and replaced the filter. Everybody didn't know that I'm doing 3D movies now. What? That's funny. There was a chip that went, whoa, like right there. That was probably fairly cool. And this will be real time, so anyways, you ought to see what a machine shop auto charge. And any machine shop will do. Oh, hey, baby, taking his shirt off.
I want tips.
Any machine shop should be able to do this, correct?
Yes.
If they're any kind of machine shop at all, somebody could do this in a drill press like me, but I don't have a tap. He's got the 3/8 MPT tap, because we're gonna do this fitting right there. So he's got the tap and he's got a mill instead of a drill press. You could do this in a drill press. You could probably do it in a vise. You know, center punch it and just make sure you're fairly square with your drill bit. Use a proper size drill bit. If you're in the Kansas City area, you can come over and have David do this.
Yes.
He'll charge you millions of dollars because he has to retire because he's sick of doing my stuff.
Millions.
He's going to retire and sell his equipment and be like, no, Jason, I can't do this stupid stuff on a Saturday.
If they watch the other video, they'll know that you dug my pond, so I'm now indebted to you for life.
No, not for life. I think we're paid off for that.
Oh.
Because of Saturday work. Saturday work's like triple time or something if you're union.
No, we're not done yet.
So
I got more black paint.
I know. Yeah, now we have to dig some more on his pond. Because of what? Because of what, David? What? So I think somebody suggested, hey, let's not do this ramp, and he wanted to do a ramp. Now what do you want to take out of the pond?
Because I didn't want, if a kid fell in the pond, I wanted them to be able to come out of it and just walk up one side and get out.
Yep.
And then I realized that
Yep. What?
No longer important because my kids are older, so.
And
now Jason gets to come over and he gets to dig my pond some more, which is good because you guys will get another video out of it.
And I get to dig out the ramp that I said, why are we putting a ramp in it? Because it's going to be slimy and mucky and you won't be able to walk up it. It's okay.
I mean, he can word it how he wants.
It's all good. It's all good. You know what? There's a lot of times I come over here and I'm like, hey, I got this great idea. I'm going to do this, and you do it totally different. It's because this is what you do, and I mean, that's just how it is. It's all good.
And my pond ended up being bigger than it was supposed to be.
Yeah, they saw it on the video. Because I about ran over the paint can.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Nothing. You just don't get a paint can this time around.
We're not making the outside bigger, just deeper.
Yeah, that's what you say right now until the machine's over there. Because you said, okay, I'm going to make it this big. And then I kept digging like, oh, okay, a little more. Oh, okay, a little more. Go down deeper. It's like, I would have done this with a different machine if I knew we were doing all this.
I'm cheap. I don't want to buy any more vent nuts.
I know. We just countersunk. See, we're real timing it, and we are at 5 minutes. Starting from the scratch on the thing to make our little line, the fancy little trick that now I'm going to use that all the time. And that's even with him walking around getting tools.
No, people are going to bring him over and be like, it only took you 3 minutes. They'll be like, look, there's a minimum charge.
I know.
I don't tell you people.
Yep. Pretty much. Hopefully he can spin that tap in there. It doesn't hit the...
I'm worried about that too.
Huh?
I'm a little worried too. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Hitting that flange. Stupid flange. If the flange wasn't there, I wouldn't even be here. I would have teed into this with my tee that I already had. Luckily, I had this.
I'll solve the flange off.
No. No. That might impede the big O-ring that's underneath it.
You guys and your technicalities.
I know. I know. And it'd probably take a little longer in the drill press, but we might have clearance. I don't know. It's gonna be close.
All right, if we get down far enough, we'll keep the center on it.
Yeah. Oh, I guess you can pull it up in the jaws a little bit too if you had to.
Yep.
Man, it'd be nice if my table. Oh, you know what? My table does have the dogs. I wonder if I could put my, because I've got that knockoff Kurt vise. I wonder if I could make just a, you know, use something like these deals are normally where you pull them out and you tighten them like this here. I wonder if I could tighten that, make me, when I say me, make me something like somebody else make me something that'd slide in there, and I could use this type of handle and tighten my Kurt vise to where maybe I could use it on my drill press. I don't know, because I'd have to, I could put it sideways and it'd go in the slots. I don't know. This is what I do. I come over to David's and I'm like, oh, you know what? You could make me this. And he's like, okay, leave.
No, you come over and you see my scrap pile, and then you go,
yeah, I do that too.
hey, you know,
yeah. Let's make this out of the scrap.
You know
like, no, you take it to your shop.
You can have all the scrap you want.
I know.
That's all right.
I know. That might be handy though. I might, because I don't know. I've got that little vise and it really sucks on my drill press. It always seems like it's in the wrong spot. But it would be kind of nice to have that Kurt vise on there. Or well, mine's not a Kurt. Mine's a like China knockoff something. eBay special. What are we at? 9 minutes. Almost 10 minutes. So I think we're going to get it before my camera, oh no, my camera rolls over at like 11 minutes 58 seconds or something. But anyways, you guys get the gist of it. We'll get it cleaned up, and I mean, we'll try, I guess we can try the fitting in it here in a second. I may end up time-lapsing this anyways. That always makes me nervous.
Me too.
You learn to do a lot of stuff one-handed, David.
Or I'll do it. You're crooked.
You do it. It's a swivel.
I was like, oh man.
Nope, that's why I didn't bring the 1/2-inch MPT one, because it was solid, and I'm like, nope, you know what, we're putting a swivel on it. There you go. That's how you can get your K-strain fitting in. Alright, well, now we're back over here, and we've got our machined filter housing that you seen David do, if I did the video correct. Here it is. This is our new fitting. Where you at? Here's our new fitting. There's our existing. So whenever I've got an O-ring like this, I went ahead and I've got a bucket over here that has fluid in it, that has a filter in it. I just got that O-ring a little wet. This is all wiped down as clean as I could possibly get it. You don't want to have anything at all in there if you can help it, because you don't want to put contaminants into your hydraulics if you can help it. And I try not to smear it around on that O-ring as little as possible. All the bolts are the same. Some stuff has different bolts, so always look at it when you take it apart. Some hydraulic tanks, I think I've seen like Takeuchi, they may have like a couple bolts that are different lengths or something like that. I don't know why, but I tried to machine this to where that was straight this way, or I tried to have David machine. Anyways, and it ought to clear that bolt. Anytime I'm doing anything like this, I'll go down and I will snug him down in whatever pattern I'm going to tighten him down in. So I'll tighten it down kind of like a lug pattern on a car. Tighten one, skip one, tighten one, skip one. I'm snugging right now. Then we'll go back through. I'm sure there's a torque spec on this. We're gonna go about there. Whatever torque that is, here, click, click, there you go. You work on enough stuff, you kind of get a feel for stuff. Click, click, see? It clicks. And then get your O-ring for the filter. Just got it wet with fluid so it doesn't bind or anything. It's sitting in there really good. You got a paper towel. Take our filter. I'm not putting a new filter in it as of yet. My plan is we'll run this for a little bit now, and then we'll put a filter in it here fairly quick. My reasoning behind that is I figured it may get a little bit of stuff in there from the mulcher and new lines and whatever. We may get a little bit of trash or something in it. So my thought is, this is your return filter. It filters all your return fluid. Got a little touch of something on there. And you take your little plunger deal. Basically, it's your spring perch. And you put your spring on it. Then you get your bolts. All the same bolts as the lower housing. And you will set it like this. I have OCD. So that's the way it came off. That's the way it goes back on. You can put it on any way you'd like. The holes are ambidextrous. Obviously that lower housing you have to put on a certain way. I mean, you might be able to rotate it, but it does have this flat surface up here machined to be flush up there so your fuel tank and stuff can fit there. I'm sure so you can get your tank out without having to pull that off, because your fuel tank's right here in front. And same as what we did before. Obviously you don't have to skip one. There's only 3 bolts. I kind of snug them down first. This is what I like to do with stuff like this. And then I'm not gonna hate you for torquing something. You can torque it. I could have looked up the torque specs. I have a lot of Yanmar information. I probably have them in one of my deals that I have. And I've got the hoses still on this. Or I mean the hose clamps, rather. I have the hose clamps on the hoses, or hose still. I guess I don't have it on this one. But the nice thing is now I don't have to modify length on the one and all that. This will be a really nice install. So get the clamps back on there. And obviously if you're doing a fuel, or a, my gosh, can't even tell you what we're doing. If you're just doing a hydraulic filter, obviously you don't have to pull these hoses. You have to pull the hoses for that housing down there. So hopefully you guys can see all this. And they do a nice job of staggering the hose clamps. And we're gonna make sure we stagger them the same way those are, because again, why? Because I have OCD. So now they'll both match, see? Isn't that horrible? That you want stuff to match. So now both of my hose clamps are clocked the same way. I know it's messed up. Trust me, my wife tells me all the time how messed up it is. Can't help it. I want it to look good and look right. And whenever I'm doing hose clamps, you might see I'm not out here on the end. I'm palming this, if you will. You can get that hose clamp plenty tight like that. See, you're seeing it starting to twist. That's a little over tight. You wanna catch it before it does that. And obviously you're opposing, and then you tighten one here, so you want one on the opposite side, 180 degrees from that. That's probably good. Tighten this guy here. And all this is repeating what I did, taking it apart, but since I took it apart without you guys being there, let's see. I figure I'll do that. If I clamp that there, so I'm gonna move these 2 clamps. And just notice this is kind of in the plane of where I was gonna have that hose. So we'll just tighten this one like this. I don't really think it's going to be an issue. I don't think we need to have them clocked. It's better if you do, but they're double clamped and all that. So it's kind of overkill. And these are really good hose barbs. Holy cow, this thing has got amazing hardware on it. Not gloating about Yanmar at all. I mean, I couldn't believe the quality of the hose barb even. I mean, super thick. I mean, even the guy at the hydraulic shop, he picked it up and he goes, "Is that a check valve?" And I said, "That's exactly what I thought at first." I was like, no, but it's not a check valve. I said, that's just a hose barb. And he goes, wow, that's substantial. I said, yeah, it's kind of what I thought. All right. I'm gonna get a wrench and tighten that. We'll get the air filter back in here. Obviously, if you look at it, man, that magnet, I know. The air filter just bolts here with a couple bolts. Put this hose on it. Put this hose on it. Good to go. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Anyways, and this is our hose here coming out. You can see I put a clamp on it. It's nice, you know, it's not like solid as a rock, but it's very, very good. We'll go ahead and clamp that there, or zip tie that there rather. That way it'll be a married pair. I've got like some really big, nice, heavy zip ties. We're gonna zip tie that on. Let's see, do I still have my light over here? No. Anyways, I showed you guys that. While I was over at David's, I didn't show machining it, but we machined this out real quick. So this will be my attachment point, and then this ought to line up. If our memory served us correctly, yes, they line up. So what we'll do is we will, or I will weld this on there like that, and then our 5/16 flange bolts will hold it on. It's about 5/8 thick. I should have a 1/2 inch of thread going through this, attaching it, because I've got 1 3/4 bolts, 5/16. 5/16 ought to be plenty strong. That's probably about what those are. If I had to guess, those might be 3/8 or whatever, you know, like a 12 mil, you know, the metric equivalent. But anyways, I think I'm gonna get this done first before I tighten all my hoses, and then I'll go through and I'll just start, you know, from here, and I'll work my way back. I'll tighten the hard line. I already tightened the clamps, but I mean, I'll tighten the line on the hard line and get everything zip tied, and we'll be done. All right, I found a tip. It's not great, but looks like we can at least get some anti-spatter on everything. Wonderful. I guess that tip clogged up. Watch, it'll work now. Nope. It's probably a good thing. Would have thrown a fit. Okay, glove. Yes, I know you're supposed to have 2 gloves on, cancer, all that. I know. I don't drink soda pop anymore, so that makes up for it. Okay. Dropping everything we own. And maybe something somebody else owns. Good. She's good enough to hold on. Where? Oh, it's all the way over there. Okay, well, you get the gist of it. That's welded on. Like I said, mainly wanted closure welds, but I mean that'll hold good. It's not, you bump it, it ain't gonna pop off. But mainly wanting a closure weld. I didn't want to put tons of heat into the stick if I didn't have to. You know, that took what, 5 minutes? So like I said, a couple hours, you could have a case drain on your machine. It's not that big a deal. I've got, not including the block that David made me, not including paying him anything to machine my my filter housing, I've got $350 in parts. That's a hard line, soft line, 2 soft lines, fittings. But keep in mind, I've got like this T. That's an expensive piece. That's extra. I can't use it. I've got this bulkhead fitting. That's extra. I can't use it. I've got this elbow, extra. Can't use it. I've got this bushing that I was going to use for the T. Can't use it. All you needed was, you know, whatever you're going to do here, you could do this with that bulkhead. So you could do a fitting, the bulkhead fitting, which is this. you could go right into here and then have somebody weld you a piece of flat bar. I wanted a little bit nicer. But then you'd have a soft hose, 115 inches long is what that one is, I believe. This is 42 or 43 inches long, hard line. It's 3/8 with, I chose to do -6 fittings because it's the same size as the line. I've got a 102 inch line and a couple clamps. Those clamps aren't terribly expensive. I'd call them $1 or $2 a piece. They're probably not even that. And then the only other fitting you have is this 2501 swivel. It's, if you tow a hydraulic shop, you need a 2501, or well, however you want to do it. But this is a 2501 0606, in which that means it's a 90-degree swivel. The S is swivel. 2501 is the 90, I believe. If you're a hydraulic guy and I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But if you tell them, I know this is a 2501 fitting. S, and it's a 0606, which means it's a -6 on one side and a 3/8 on the other. Anyways, but you need that fitting, a bulkhead fitting, a quick coupler, a hard line, and if you choose not to do a hard line, you could do a soft line all the way in. All right, guys, we are done, except for cutting a couple zip ties and zip tying the portion down in the belly. We're done. Well, and one clamp up here. So here's our block that we made over at David's, and I put a piece of 5/8 cold rolled. We drilled it. I think I showed you that. Welded on. We painted it. This is what I bought at the Yanmar dealer. It matches okay. I mean, it might match like a new machine. Mine's obviously been used. But anyways, here's our case drain. It goes up. It's kind of protected inside there, you know, back behind this line, but it runs with this line. It's really about the same size. I'm gonna have a clamp up there behind that one, and I may zip tie these together. I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be fine in there. It's got the shrink wrap covering on it. And we'll go up on top of the boom and look at the install up here so you can see exactly what I did. So here's our line. Put a clamp here, and if it interferes with the cylinder, obviously I can spin this clamp and I can put it here. This is a little slack. I think what I'm gonna do, I think I've got some hydraulic clamps, kind of like that. See that little silver clamp, but mine are plastic. So I think I'm gonna clamp to here and clamp to that and kind of give it a positive securement. I thought about zip tying it to something. I'm not that worried about it. If I've got one of those clamps, I'll put that in there. So then this is our line here. I already got grease on it, so it looks factory. I left the zip tie flags on so we could see where I zip tied and how I secured it. Here's our hard line going into our factory, location there. Let's get on the track. I haven't picked up tools yet, so I have to step over stuff. But this is us. This is our new hard line. And it goes to a soft line here, securement. It'll move in and out of there, but it's fairly tight, not rubbing on anything. It doesn't even touch that, but that's rounded for hose protection. It gets married here. Again, I left the flags, and we married to those hoses. So it ought to have enough flex to follow those. You know, like this has got a bunch of movement that can come out of the house. So it ought to be good. And then it comes in, you saw me fish the hose. It goes in and goes around there. I'm not gonna worry about turning the light on because it's hard to see it anyways. That's not zip tied yet. And then we come around here. I've got the air filter back in it. Everything's back together in here. Everything's tight. Here's our swivel fitting that goes in to the side of the tank. I'm gonna put a zip tie, I don't know, right there or something after I get the belly zip tied. I might zip tie it before. Maybe we'll go to this line so it's kind of secured. I'll see what it looks like in the belly. We might secure it to this line here. That way it's just with the other return. But I've got the filter back in, O-rings are back in, machine's ready to go. It ought to be tight. Like I said, I'm gonna zip tie the belly and get this zip tied, and we're done with the case drain. And honestly, if you had all your parts there and you have a welder, you know, say you had some way to secure this. I kind of think a piece of flat bar would do quite well. There's a case drain and on a Yanmar VIO 50, and it'd be the same as a 55, you know, for the most part a 55. You know, dimensions I would think would be relatively the same, but it's the same install really on anything. But anyways, have a good day. Like and subscribe, please, if you would, and look for my other videos. We're gonna get that thing screaming. I'm gonna go ahead and get that. I'm gonna get the case drain. It goes up there on top of the moat. Well, you got a port top and bottom. I'm gonna put it on the top. We're gonna go ahead and get the line on. I'll pull that fitting, so I've got what I need to go get a 94, so we can, or I mean a 45, so we can get a 45 on that, and we'll just have to use this next week, because obviously I don't have anything in my bin that'll fit that, unfortunately, to make it have a 45 for now, so we could run it. So I'm short one fitting, but we did it a little different than what I planned on doing, so I think it turned out a little better actually. But anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.